Howdy gamers, Nintenjoel here again with another episode, and I got an interesting topic for you guys today. I watched a very good episode of the HappyConsoleGamer, and him and Rodman were talking about their favorite consoles of all time, and I thought that'd be an interesting topic and or discussion for you guys, and so here be my video response. So, anybody that's known me for any period of time at all and plays video games knows that my favorite system of all time is ye old Super Nintendo. And this gray beauty here is the source of many, many good memories and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, what's great about this console is first of all, it's just easy to use. It's reliable. It had a great game library. It has a great controller for it, one of my favorite controllers in video game history. And really there's a little bit of nostalgia in there too. And I'd like to talk about each of those things in turn. First of all, the design and just the look and the feel of the Super Nintendo is very nice. This is the original one that I've had since I was a teenager. And it's held up pretty well. It's just beautiful, in my opinion. Nice angular look. I love that it's a top loader. The fact that it's a top loader and the Genesis is a top loader makes those two systems stand out to me. I don't like the Nintendo, the original Nintendo, the way you had to slide it in, click the game down, and good luck getting it to work on the first time. Super Nintendo's worked every single time. I love that about them. You just plug in your game and it works. Another interesting thing about this, and the Nintendo had this as well, is that instead of having your Super Nintendo hook up to your TV through the coaxial cable, you had the option of having it hook up to the AV cables, hooking it up to the TV with AV cables, I should say, which was very, very nice. The controller was one of the things that I really loved about the Super Nintendo. The Nintendo had an A-B button, a start and a select, and a control pad. Nintendo really upped the ante with the two shoulder buttons that have remained a constant in most of their gaming ever since, and I love the shoulder buttons. Your fingers naturally go there anyways. It just makes sense to have these buttons there. Also, they added the X and the Y button, and it's just a very responsive control, fairly long cord. I mean, there's nothing to control there. There's nothing to complain about with the controller. There's nothing to control about with the complain. So anyways, after that they decided to release it kind of like the Nintendo did with their little mini Nintendo, the top loader. We have the Super Nintendo Mini, and I love this thing. This thing is awesome. If this thing is even slightly unreliable, this is even more reliable, and it takes up so little space. It's the size of like a Genesis 3, maybe a tiny bit bigger, but it's just an awesome system. I love it also. It's just nice to have both of them. So the other thing that was on my list for why it's my favorite system of all times is the game library. The games for this system are amazing, and just the genres of games for this system are amazing. Everything from side-scrolling shmups to overhead shmups to beat-em-ups, lots of good beat-em-ups like Final Fight. The platformers, just the Marios and the Donkey Kongs, I mean, they're so damn good. You can't go wrong with that. But really what caught my eye with this system as far as the games was the amount of RPGs. I am an RPGer, and this system had the Final Fantasies. This system had Shadowrun. This system had the Lufias, the Breath of Fires, all the games that I wanted to play. And, you know, I love the Genesis. I love plenty of other systems, but they just don't have the RPG value that this one does. Except for one mention, and maybe it would be my second favorite, maybe third system of all time, is the PlayStation 1, which also has an extensive, beautiful RPG library. So the last thing is just pure nostalgia. I remember going to my friend's house, and my friends across the street basically were Atari kids, and they had an Atari 2600, and then they had the next one up, which was, what, the 5200? and they had plenty of games for those, and I used to go across the street and play those. And I was already familiar with the Nintendo system at this time, but they had skipped the Nintendo, and so I used to get my Atari fix over there, and my Nintendo fix at my other friends' houses, and eventually my house when I got a Nintendo. But then one day they decided to skip the Nintendo entirely and go for a Super Nintendo as soon as it was released. And there were some great games for that when it was first released, or at least soon after it was released, like Joe and Mac, and I remember watching them play Contra 3, The Alien Wars, and just Super Mario World just blew my mind. I mean, they really amazed me with the graphics and the sound, the playability, and the use of all of these buttons. Actually using all these buttons and not just having them as a periphery thing. So, yeah, and then I had another friend that had a couple brothers. It was like 3 brothers that used to just play games like crazy, and they had a Super Nintendo too, and that is where I first found Final Fantasy II, and Super Star Wars, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and Super Mario Kart. Some of my favorite games of all time. And to this day, just clicking on this power button just brings up incredible memories and nostalgic factor that is unmatched with any other system. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, if I was stranded on an island and I had one console and a TV and electricity, it would be a Super Nintendo. And, you know, hopefully a few RPGs. Man, when I first got this system, I was about 16 years old, right, maybe 15 years old, right when I moved to Oregon, and I was mowing lawns in 100-degree weather, and through an ad in the paper, I found somebody selling a Super Nintendo for $60, and they met me at my house and everything, and it was a Super Nintendo in perfect condition, 2 controllers, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and Final Fantasy III. And God, I still have those original copies to this day, and I mean, I will never ever let go of those. It's just an amazing memory, an amazing system. Absolutely can't go wrong with this. And with that, I want to say thank you to the Happy Console Gamer for giving me a great idea for a topic, and I really would like to hear your views on this system. What do you guys think of the Super Nintendo? Is it as good of a system to you as it is to me? Or is this just pure nostalgia for me? I don't think it is. I know there are tons of Super Nintendo lovers out there. Maybe many cite the NES as their favorite system, or even the Genesis, but I know there are Super Nintendo lovers just beyond numbers. I mean, look at the prices of Super Nintendo games. They're just skyrocketing because they're so in demand. But also, I want to know what your favorite system is. What's your favorite console? You know, were you a PlayStation guy? Were you a Sega girl? You know, what was it for you? And tell me exactly why. I mean, if possible, send a video response like I did to the Happy Console Gamer. And with that, I also say, please check out the Happy Console Gamer. He is an incredible YouTuber. I love his style, and just his ideas from videos are great. So if you like the video, thumbs up down below, subscribe down below around this here area, and like I said, leave a comment, that'd be awesome. And continue to game, folks, and just keep watching. Thank you very much for watching.